Hi guys, if I can talk here, Vintage Game Crazy here, and decided to start testing out my webcam and see how well it works, and just start out by doing a small pickup video. I went to the Midwest Gaming Classic this weekend and picked up a couple of really great items, as well as I also been doing a lot of thrift shopping, and I've also found a lot of other really decent stuff. So I figured I would share that with you. See how this turns out. It's probably going to sound really stupid and bad and unprofessional, but it's my first try, so bear with me here. And we're going to see how it works. But I went to the Midwest Gaming Classic, and all weekend I was looking for a converter to play Famicom games on my NES. I originally had one, and I thought I still had it, but apparently it went missing. And I recently ordered a large lot of 200 Famicom games in bulk on eBay, paid $300 for it, shipped, and I got these things in the mail. And I went to the Midwest Gaming Classic, and everybody was telling me about a guy who had a Famicom for sale, and I went over to see if he still had it. They said it was $50, which I thought was a great price, and he had literally sold it about a minute or two before I got to his booth, and I was really bummed out. And I decided to start walking around, and I found a guy selling a lot of import systems who apparently had a store, and he was selling an AV Famicom, but it was $120, and it only had a power supply, no hookups, no controllers, and really nothing else. And all I had is $100 in cash on me, so I went to ask him if he'd take $100 for it. He would not do it. He only said $115, and I'm like, I really don't want to spend that much on this just to be able to play those games. I can go and find a converter somewhere else. And I waited, and then me and a friend that was with me, we ended up scrounging through tons of NES games, seeing if we could find a converter, and we really didn't have any luck. And I was trying to explain to him how to look for the converters in the games, and I told him about the weight, and finally he came up to me and said, "This one seems really heavy." And I ended up working out a deal with the guy, and he gave me a bunch of stuff, and I got a good deal, and the game ended up basically being free. So later at the end of the day, I found one more booth where a guy actually said he had one with the converter in it, and he offered to check mine to confirm that the converter was in there, and it in tune actually did have the converter in it. And I told him that if he checked it and it didn't, I would actually buy his, and then I would buy some other stuff from him, because I really wanted to help him out, because he was so nice and just willing to help me. And I really appreciated that. So he checked mine, and it actually did have the converter. So I decided to buy, just some NES bootlegs from him. But I picked up 3 bootlegs, and they were $8 a piece originally, but he offered to give them all to me for $15. So I have picked up, these are all by, 2 of them are by Spica. I believe the third one is too, but I'm not 100% certain. These actually do have converters in them, but they actually have the original board soldered to them, so they'd be a lot of work to make them work. But and they don't really have the adapter, the slot for the cartridges, so it'd be too much work to really get these to work. But they're just fun to have anyway. But I picked up this one is Double Dragon. So you can see here it has somebody with a spacesuit on, which it really doesn't make sense, but that's pirates for you. The second one is Batman, with what looks like a galaxy or a nebula or whatever on it. Yeah, so that's Batman, and the label's a little beat up, but hey. The third one's kind of an interesting looking cartridge, and it has some little, cheesy animated little ninja or whatever on the front of it. And it was called Super Ninja, and I had no idea what the heck this game was, but I bought it, and I just figured out that I'd run home, give it a try, see what it is. Turns out Super Ninja is actually Demon Sword, for better or for worse. Probably for the worse. My cat wants to decide to climb on me here. So I ended up with another copy of Demon Sword. Yeah, Demon Sword is retarded. So, and it's a game that I would rather not remember or care to play. So, yeah. But I have a copy of Manja for the Atari 2600 here, and a lot of you might know what this is. It's a very rare game. This is actually the PAL version, and I didn't actually get this at the Classic. I took it to the Classic. I originally had a box in pretty nice shape for this thing, and a friend of mine who runs a video game store here in the Chicago area acquired another copy of the game and wanted to have the box with it, and he offered to basically give me $130 for the box. And I figured, since the game is shot, you know, and I could use that money for the Classic and for the other stuff, I bought this game to the Classic for him, traded in the box. This game is beat, and it is actually dead. It will not power up at all. But he gave me a copy of Boing and another $60 in cash. And if you don't know what Boing is, it's a pretty great Qbert clone. It's quite a bit different though, but it's similar. Definitely, very, very influenced by Qbert, but it is a blast. It's one of my favorite Atari 2600 games, and it's one of those games that I've always wanted to have. You know, it's been like that, one of those ones on my list that I've really wanted. But it goes for about 70 to 75 bucks, and it's just really expensive. And I've never had a chance to pick it up. And when I could trade the box for this and then get a bunch of cash, I decided to go for it and take advantage of that. And I now have Boing in very good shape, as the cats decide to be annoying along with the dog. Down in the basement, if any of you are at the Midwest Gaming Classic, you know that they had a lot of vendors this year. Some of them were better than others. Some of them were way too overpriced. Some of them were good priced. I just didn't have the money. But I went downstairs and was talking to the guy with the largest vending, slot down there, and he ended up being a really nice guy. And he had a ton of Atari 2600 imports. A lot of them were exclusive, and I've been kind of out of the loop on import Atari 2600 stuff, European stuff for a while. I used to follow it. Now I really don't remember what's what. But he was really nice to explain to me what everything was, and he was actually the one that gave me that I bought. It was a copy of Golf for NES with the converter in it for Famicom games. But he gave me, I got 6 boxed import Atari 2600 games. All but one of them are exclusive, and they were $10 each. One was 15. So that's would have been about $70 with the converter. $5 you wanted for the game with the converter. He actually gave it all to me for 60, but I got some pretty nice stuff for my collection. I can't wait to try these. I do still have a TV with a vertical hold, and it works pretty well, so I can try these out. But this is also complete. This is Bobby is Going Home, which is the English way to pronounce it, or Bobby Get Heim, I think is how the German pronunciation is. But you know, a cheesy adventure game for the Atari 2600. I have not played it yet, but I'm waiting to. I'm looking forward to it. I got a copy of Acid Drop by Salu, or however you say that. Also complete, in pretty nice shape with some minimal wear on the box. It is basically a Columns clone, and I do like Columns, not as much as Tetris, but hey, I'll take it. This is Snail Against Squirrel, or Schenkgegen Eichhornchen, however you say that in German. I don't know how you say that, but I don't care. But it's Snail Against Squirrel. The manual is actually in English with a lot of English in it, so that's great. And there's a picture of the back. I picked that up. This is Der Postman, or Mr. Postman, I believe is what it would be in English. Again, I haven't played this, and you can see the screenshot on the back is not a real screenshot, but something made up, and it's way too nice looking for an Atari 2600 game. The one game that I did pick up that is released in America is Dice Puzzle by Sancho, and I think the American one would be by Panda, and it is actually quite rare. Don't own a copy of that myself. This is also complete, pretty nice shape, and it's a puzzle game. I have yet to play this either, and I want to give it a chance. The final boxed one I got is actually Sea Monster. Again, I haven't played this. It's probably pretty bad. I think this was actually released by Zellers in Canada, so technically it's got a North American release, which is not a true US release. So I picked that up. Could be wrong on that being in America though. You know, the last one he talked to me about, and he was just giving me a lot of advice and info on import games and stuff, so I decided to buy this one last one when he was talking about it, because, you know, the guy was really nice to me. He was just really helping me out. He was trying to be a lot lower in pricing than everybody else. But I got Pac Kong, and this is supposed to be like using the code of Atari 2600 Pac-Man, but really not the same game. So I have yet to try this out. I heard it's horrible, but you know, what the heck, you know, I'm just gonna give it a shot. So the second from the last thing I got, you know, I bought those NES bootlegs last, right before we left. I decided to leave kind of early. I left at about 5:30. I was just starting to get a little bit bored, and I had a bad headache, and I was really feeling tired. You know, I was just starting to feel kind of miserable, so we just decided to leave. You know, we had done everything. We saw everything we wanted. The only thing I didn't get to see is I missed some panels, but I stopped at one last place, you know, and down in the museum, one of the guys had brought in Spectre Video SPI 328 computer, and I had never played one of those before, and I always wanted to. It is actually a pretty nice computer. I was actually pretty impressed with it, and you know, a lot of nice games for it, and you know, very ColecoVision quality. And he was actually had a copy of Spectron playing, and I'd never played that before, but I was thoroughly impressed with it. It's probably one of the very best Space Invaders clones I've ever played, and probably really better than, probably the best of the best, honestly, for the time. But I was looking through a booth, and I actually found Spectron for ColecoVision, and it was 15 bucks, and it's actually a pretty rare game. So you can see the glare there, and I got it for 15 bucks. Very happy. I went home and looked at some YouTube videos, and it looks to be almost basically identical to the Spectre Video, the SPI 328 version, graphically. So I was pretty excited. I have not had a chance to hook my ColecoVision up and play it yet, but I definitely want to. So that is everything we got at the Midwest Gaming Classic. If you haven't been to that and you live nearby, I'd say even with 10 or 12 hour driving distance, it's totally worth going. It's 20 bucks for a day. You know, if you prepay in advance, it's 25 for a weekend. It's just a lot of fun, a lot of great people, you know, a lot of good games for sales. I would definitely recommend checking it out. So I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to just test it, see how it is, before I go on with the rest of my finds for the entire month. And there's some pretty nice stuff here, so nothing groundbreaking, but some nice stuff nonetheless. And I will go over that. Stay tuned. And as always, if you enjoy this, just subscribe, and I will try to keep doing these finds videos and stuff, and you know, maybe just some commentary. I'm no good with video editing and all that other fancy stuff, so probably not going to do gameplay videos, but I may basically do just like a video blog and just talk about how, you know, what I like or what I've been playing, you know, and recommendations, and maybe some basic reviews of some stuff that I, you know, been playing. So stay tuned. Thanks a lot.